Oh. There we go, guys. That's a decent bass. There we go, guys. We found a pattern for the bass, that's for sure. Whoa. This is a decent fish. What do we got here? Got a MD 2020? Yes, it is. What kind is that? Red grape wine. Ugh, I don't know if I've had that one. Rough stuff, folks. Rough stuff. Don't do it. Don't try it. All right, people. Welcome back to Cross Country Bank Angler. Out here on a pretty rainy day. It's like misting, kind of like a light rain right now. Kind of cool for the time of year as well today. Cool rainy day, mid-May. And I'm back out here at this little lake here. You guys have seen this pond a few times on the channel before. And the goal today is to try to see if I can catch my first fish this year on a topwater lure. That's kind of the goal today, is to see if the fish are starting to kind of respond to those presentations, or if it's still a little too early in the year. You know, we got clouds, which is good. You know, low light conditions, that's usually favorable for topwater. But I don't like the fact that it's kind of a cool day, kind of a chilly day. It could, you know, that temperature shift, you know, the fish do respond to that sometimes, and it could kind of shut the fishing down. I went out here maybe 6 weeks ago with a friend of mine, and it was pretty much dead, unfortunately. I caught one little dinky bass, and my friend caught one little bluegill, and that was it. We could not get a bite out here, and usually this lake is really good to fish in the spring. So I'm kind of worried about this spot. I don't know if something's happened to it or what, but I know some other people are still fishing it and still catching fish here. So I am back out here to try it once again. You know, I don't really like to give up on a spot unless I've really, you know, I've gone a few times and just not had good luck. And this place has produced some nice fish. So yeah, that's really the goal today. I would say our objectives are to catch a fish of any species on a topwater lure, and our secondary objective is just to catch 5 decent fish, whether they're bass or pickerel, from this place today. A bonus objective would be to catch a pickerel on topwater. That's be extra exciting, like a nicer size pickerel hit on a topwater lure. That's a little more exciting than a bass for me. I feel like I've caught a lot of bass this spring, so I really would like to catch a pickerel today. So yeah, you never know until you throw. So let's go. All right, guys, so I am back here kind of at this back corner of the lake. I don't actually fish this part very much, but you know, we've been getting some rain, like I said. Like, you know, last night we had some rain, and a few days ago, earlier this week, we had some rain. So the water here seems like it's gone up, you know, at least like 10 inches or so, maybe a little over a foot. So I'm thinking the fish are more likely to be kind of in these coves now that the water is up a little more. You know, they're maybe a little more inclined to kind of move and swim around back here and look to feed. So on this is one of my my newest BFS setup. I'm going to do a video on this outfit eventually, talk more about it, but this is more of like a bass fishing setup, in my opinion. That's kind of the goal, the vision I had for it. 6'6" rod, light power, moderate fast, and I'm going to be throwing this little popper today. This is a Ozark Trail. It's the Walmart brand popper. I have 2 of these Ozark Trail poppers, but I've never actually bought one. I've found both of them. I had a little kind of frog colored one that I found last year at a creek. And now I have this one. Oh, there's a little disturbance along the edge of the weeds over there. And I don't throw a popper that much, guys, to be honest. But I did catch some fish on them last year. I've used a little ultralight popper a few times. Had some fun catching like panfish and stuff on it. But obviously we're trying to go bigger today. I caught some on the other Ozark Trail popper back in the summer in that my topwater challenge, my topwater only bass fishing challenge video. You should check that one out if you haven't already. But this popper, it doesn't actually make that much noise. Like, it doesn't kind of bloop really loud. But it throws a lot of water, and it's easy to kind of work it pretty fast. You can kind of walk it a little bit. Like, if we find the right presentation, we could catch a fish on the surface. We've gotten a couple blow ups. It's just slow. I think we got one, guys. Yes. Yes. Look like a bass. Oh yeah, that feels good. Wow, he's fighting. Yes. Good fish, guys. On the black popper. He smoked it. Hey, look, buddy. Get out of the weeds. Dude, good fish. Yes. Oh my gosh, guys. That's a good fish. Look at that popper, guys. Right in the side of his mouth. Yes. That was sick. This fish fought really well also. Let's take a look at him, guys. Ooh. Ooh. Nice bass. That's a beautiful fish, guys. Look at that. Look at the condition of this fish. Look at the belly. Really nice. First topwater fish of the year on that black popper that we just restored. We found it last week. We cleaned it up, got it ready for action, and it's catching fish. Wow, this is a nice bass. This is a nice bass, guys. This is the best one I've caught in probably a year or so out of here. I'm gonna put this one on the scale. 0 pounds, 0 ounces. Oh, 3 pounder, guys. 3 pounds, 0 ounces. Wow, that's bigger than I expected. I thought he was maybe a 2.5. Beautiful fish, guys. Beautiful bass. All right, guys, 3 pounder on the Ozark Trail plopper. 3 pound bass. Let's let him go. There we go. Wow. Awesome fish, guys. All right, guys, that was such a cool catch. I just I mean, topwater is always so much fun, but just getting them to blow up on it. And you know, that fish really, at first it didn't seem big at all. I thought it was fairly small, and then it just felt it get heavier and heavier, and then it started really fighting. And I didn't think it was going to be a 3-pounder either, to be honest. Oh. There we go, guys. That's a decent bass. Get out of there. All right. Well, there's another fish on the June bug stick worm, the yum dinger. There we go. All right, there's our fish, guys. Maybe a pound. I'll take it after how slow it's been. Maybe they're just not that active today. Maybe that popper fish was kind of a fluke. All right, there he is, guys. Decent bass. See ya, buddy. Off he goes. All right, people. I'm at a nearby lake that's, been on my list of places to explore for a while, but I just haven't gotten around to. I just saw a bass swim off over here. That's interesting. Not a very big lake. It's kind of connected to another larger one, though. You can see we've got this decking out here. This could hold some fish underneath, maybe. So I think I'm going to toss the yum dinger around here. Just start off with something subtle. Today may not be the day, guys. I think these fish are just shut down. I think the unusual chilly weather for this time of year has them kind of in a passive mood. All right, people, so my micro battery died here for a few minutes, and of course this is when I start catching some fish. So I'm just going to run some narration here and talk about the pattern that I ended up finding at this new lake. So I'm throwing the BFS setup once again, and we're hooking to our first fish here. Not a particularly nice one or anything, actually on the smaller side, maybe like a 10 or 11-inch fish, 11-inch largemouth bass from this lake. It's a cloudy day, we've got fairly clear water, so I'm throwing a swim bait, a Finesse swim bait on this setup. This is that Bass Pro Shops speed shad that I've talked about before. It's basically the Bass Pro Shops version of the Kitech Fat Swing Impact. Great little finesse lure, when the bite is tough, you want something natural and subtle. It's one of the options that I often turn to. So I managed to land us our first bass here, but You know, normally with this lure, I catch fish just on a steady cast and retrieve. You know, you're just winding it back, letting the tail kick. There's another look at the bait there. 1/8 ounce jig head. I think this is called bluegill flash. But this time, you know, I was doing something a little bit different. You know, I'm casting out to the middle of the pond, which is kind of unusual. Usually, you know, you're kind of trying to cast around cover, you know, run, you know, parallel the bank. But for whatever reason, the bass in this lake were congregated out in the middle. I don't know if there's structure out there or if they just wanted to be in the deeper water that day, but we were casting the swim bait out, letting it sink. You know, we were watching that thing drop out there. And once it kind of hit bottom or got close to bottom, I would start to wind it more or less as I normally would, but I'd also kind of start pausing and slowing down, as you can see here, kind of lifting the bait up, and bam, as we let it drop again, we get another fish here closer to the bank that time. That one, I think, had just followed it in. You know, he kind of saw it swimming and got behind it. And I mean, this fish, you know, it's a little bit bigger than the last one. And I mean, you can't even see the lure. He's just straight up inhaled that little swim bait. 100% wanted to eat that thing. I mean, look at that, guys. You can't argue with results like that. Usually if you're getting a fish to consume the lure like that, then you got the right bait. So yeah, slightly nicer one there. But yeah, you know, the key seemed to be just kind of switching up the retrieve, you know, not just going steady, pausing, you know, letting the bait kind of sink down, you know, that tail kicks as it falls down, kind of doing some jigging as well, you know, lifting it back up, kind of letting it, you know, lift and drop a little bit as you're winding, you know, pausing it a little bit, letting it do that drop, lifting it up, popping it, you know, twitching it a little bit. You can see here we let it sink, and that time the fish actually hit it on the drop. So we were just, I guess there was a school of fish out there, but you were just letting the lure sink down, and you know, we just started to wind it a tiny bit when that guy just nailed it. So 3 fish here in fairly rapid succession. A bit of a skinnier one this time. The fish in here, I don't know what was going on, but they weren't like super bulky or anything like that. That was the pattern here, just changing up that retrieve. It's one of those things that, you know, you hear people talk about all the time, but it really can make a difference, especially if the bite is a little tough or the normal way you're fishing a lure isn't working. So anyway, after this bass, I am able to get a new mic setup going here with fresh batteries. So yeah, that's just a quick discussion of how we were catching these fish. Here we go, guys. We found a pattern for the bass, that's for sure. Whoa. This is a decent fish. Whoa. Whoa. That's the biggest so far, guys. Really skinny, though. And he got all tangled up somehow. All right, guys, I mean, look at this fish compared to the fish that we caught on the popper earlier. Really skinny. So this could be another spawned out fish. That's most likely the explanation, is that these fish are further behind in the spawn than maybe some of that other lake. But yeah, really skinny, big old head. Let's get this guy back. This could have been like a 3-pounder. See ya, buddy. But we found the technique, guys. All right, people. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day here. So, kind of a strange day. And we went out with the goal of catching our first topwater fish of the year, of any species. And we were able to pull it off. I was actually considering how the day went, I actually think I was pretty lucky to have managed that. You know, we got that nice 3-pounder on that popper that we'd found and fixed up and gotten ready to fish again. So that was cool. We had a couple other blow-ups on it, but yeah, otherwise it's been a pretty tough day, pretty slow day overall. It was definitely a grind. We've been out here for a long time. So yeah, we went out to this other lake. Never been to it before. It was close by. I just wanted to hot spots and see what we could do somewhere else. Definitely different conditions here. The water is much clearer. And we were able to finesse some bass today with the little Bass Pro Shops Swimbaits. So that kind of helped us reach our second goal, which was to catch 5 fish. So it was a successful day. We had to do some jumping different spots and trying different techniques. A lot of casting, but we got it done, guys. We found some fish on the swim bait. That was really the first time I've really used that swim bait much this year. Thanks for joining me on this rainy day, doing a little bit of bass fishing, mostly with the bait Finesse setup today, which was fun. Kind of been trying that one out a little bit. Thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment on this video. Give me some feedback on what you guys would like to see. Share this video with your friends. And hopefully, I'll see you next time. Peace.